I guess with a name that literally translates to English as pocket monster, Pokemon can't all be adorable like Pikachu or Eevee. That's why today, I, Mullet Mike Hardcastle, will cover my own personal 5 freakiest Pokedex entries. Not much criteria here for this list. I'm going to try to stay away from ghost-type Pokemon. It's a little too on the nose, and there are just so many. This is just a list of a few unassuming, disturbing entries that I've run across. That being said, as always, let's start with number 5, Lampent. While this little guy might not look like much, don't let appearances fool you. According to its Pokedex entry from Pokemon Black 2, it states, "The spirits it absorbs fuel its baleful fire. It hangs around hospitals waiting for people to pass on." Hospitals? What the fuck? Number 4, Drifloon. This goofy-looking, bubbly bastard is much more sinister than it may appear. With so many generations of Pokemon, I never realized how many of these creepy Pokedex entries involve children! Just listen to its entry from Pokemon Heart Gold. Quote, "It is whispered that any child who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds on to it could wind up missing." End quote. The entry from Black and White 2 is even more disturbing, as it is much more direct and to the point. Quote, "These Pokemon are called the signposts for wandering spirits. Children holding them sometimes vanish." Oh, I rest my case. Number 3, Banette. No one likes a creepy doll, and that's basically what Banette is. I've actually already discussed this particular Pokemon in a previous episode of Creepy Gaming, but here's its Pokedex entry from Emerald for a quick refresher. Quote, "An abandoned plush doll became this Pokemon. They are said to live in garbage dumps and wander about in search of children that threw them away." End quote. Makes you think twice about throwing away those old plushies, huh? Number 2, Yamask. Much like our last entry, Yamask wasn't always a Pokemon, but rather transformed or evolved into one. This is disturbing for many reasons. Rather than stalking children or haunted hospitals, this Pokemon cries out, which makes it both tragic and disturbing. Its Pokedex entry reads, quote, "Each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human. Sometimes they look at it and cry." End quote. So these Pokemon were actually human at one point? What the hell did they do? I mean, seriously, can you imagine how much bad karma you must have coming your way for you to transform into one of these just for some little kid to trap you in a Pokeball? That is one hell I want no part of. Thank you. Honorable mentions. Now here's where I usually do some mentions of the honorable nature, but there are so many creepy Pokedex entries I could probably make an entirely new list. So let me know in the comments which Pokemon I missed. With so many Pokemon out there in the various generations, you might be able to show me one that I'm not familiar with. That being said, it's time for number 1, Hypno and Drowzee. Yeah, everybody that knows me knew I'd pick Hypno at number 1 for obvious reasons. But sharing that top spot is the lesser mentioned Drowzee. Granted, his unassuming appearance is not as intimidating as a Hypno's, but their Pokedex entries are eerily similar. Here's Drowzee's entry from Pokemon Silver, and I quote, "It remembers every dream it eats. It rarely eats the dreams of adults because children's are much tastier. End quote. Yeah, just reading that grossed me out. I really feel like I don't have to drive home the point that these kid-stalking creatures are in fact from a kid's game. I think the entries speak for themselves at this point. As I mentioned earlier, let me know what other creepy Pokedex entries are out there, and maybe I'll feature them in a future 5 Freakiest. But for now, I think that's going to do it for me today, folks. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed this edition. I am Mullet Mike with a pedal saying, sticky, stay creepy, my friends. Peace!